Hi, this is Kathy Kennedy, and I'm at Bridge Gardens in Bridgehampton, working with Rick to do the next phase of getting your vegetable garden started, and that is transplanting seedlings you may have started earlier in the winter, as well as putting seeds in the ground to get them started right now in the garden. So, Rick, why don't you take it away?
Okay, today we're going to plant some cabbage seedlings, and these are the result of the seeds that we sowed in, I guess it was February when we did our seed starting video. So these are the plants that resulted from that. How many, let's see, that was early February, so these are, maybe a month and a half old. So time to get out, and before coming out here and being planted, we brought them out gradually, got them used to full sun, so and to the colder temperature, night temperatures. So they're all ready to go in the ground and get going. And as I said, this is a cabbage. It's a cone-shaped cabbage called Murdoch, and very easy to grow. Has always been a good producer here. So here we go. I've got them all spaced out, approximately 2 feet apart. I'm leaving a little bit of room here in the front for some other plants. Just going to sprinkle a little fertilizer around. This is I think 5-1-1, something like that, an organic fertilizer. Just going to turn this up, and also, these beds have all been weeded. All the winter weeds are gone, so they're nice and clean, and the plants will not have any competition, the cabbage. So now here we go, planting. I plant them a little deep, and they don't blow around so much in the wind. And I'll do one more, just a small ring of fertilizer around.
So you don't actually put the fertilizer right in the hole, you're putting it around so that the roots can find the fertilizer as they get bigger?
Yeah, I guess you could dig out down and put it down at the bottom, but actually all the roots are kind of on the side of the plant, and I think that they get that. And this is their first initial fertilizing. I mean, I'll give them another side dressing, maybe in a couple weeks. I might give them a little fish emulsion, in a couple weeks and get them going. So, and regularly until they're, much bigger and they're well on their way. But I'll finish up the rest here, and while you move on to something else. So another thing I like to do this time of year is sow a crop like arugula. Arugula likes it really cold. It also, beets, if you sow it now, it'll germinate and grow and be harvestable before the flea beetles come out. And flea beetles can really decimate arugula, Asian greens, a lot of plants in the cabbage family. So it's really good to get them early and beat the flea beetles. And the other crops you can also grow now are radishes, or you could grow a row of spinach. If you haven't, if you didn't put a row in last September and are harvesting, you could put one in now and have a nice late spring harvest of spinach. Still a little early for lettuce, but I will be doing it soon. And certainly it's time for peas. So once the soil temp hits 40 degrees or above, and around 40-50, that's when you should plant peas. So right now let's do arugula. I'm going to, another thing is important to think about what you're going to plant where in your garden. And I like to rotate crops like tomatoes, peppers, and eggplants. So I did not grow tomatoes in this bed last year, or probably for the year before that either. So I'm going to grow them in there this year, but I won't be planting until end of May. So in the meantime, I can get a nice crop of arugula out of this bed. So I'm going to mark the row. With some fertilizer. then I will turn it in a little bit. Arugula is really easy crop to grow. It's grow just about anywhere, and it also is very tolerant of cold and spring conditions, wet spring conditions, and will often overwinter. In fact, I'm trying a couple varieties. One's called Ice Bread, which overwinter really, really well. So we'll see what happens. So that's kind of fluffed up enough. And I'll just make a shallow trench. I have dug a shallow trench, worked in the fertilizer, and now I'm going to scatter the arugula seed. And I tend to be a very heavy-handed seeder, and I don't mind if the plants just come up again, really close together. I think that's fine. But often when we harvest, we'll cut a row of this and then fertilize it again and get a second cutting in a couple weeks afterwards. And that works pretty well and very consistently too. So I gotta get some more seeds.
So what you're saying is it's really not bad to have it close together, it doesn't
something like that. I do this with arugula. I don't thin it. Certainly lettuce, leaf lettuce, I do the same with that. Cilantro, the same. Spinach.
So it's not an exact science, which makes it nice and easy for everybody to do.
Exactly. That's one of the best things about gardening. So I sprinkled the seeds and just going to cover them lightly just by bringing soil from the sides over on top, and then pressing down. I sort of like to create a little trough where the row is, so that the water stays in there when it rains or when I water. This time of year you don't have to water so much. And you don't want to cover arugula seed too deeply. It will come up eventually, but I think it prefers just a light, very light covering. And I would say that's probably true for lettuce. I found that 1/8 of an inch is just plenty, which is not a lot. But keeping it moist, maybe watering this row every day is, I think, super important for success.
And being spring, there's always rain.
Fortunately, in spring, you don't have to do that all the time. Like tomorrow, it's going to rain, and probably this wouldn't need watering again until Monday. So, but it's good to pay attention and not forget.